In today's art tutorial, I'm trying out the 90 color acrylic paint marker set from Arrtx. To say I'm excited to use these is an understatement. I can't wait to show you what they can do. Hi friends, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell and today's video is sponsored by Arrtx. So recently I received this 90 color acrylic marker paint set and I've seen it on social media and I was super excited to try it. Comes with a little sheet showing you all the colors and they're actually stickers, which is amazing. And then a little card there to show you all the hashtags. So if you want to share your art on social media, which I really love, it's a way to build community. And then my first thought here is that I'd like to start just kind of going by the color sheet and picking colors that speak to me. I love warm greens, cool, like tealy gray blues, reds, burgundies. So that's the sort of stuff that I'm grabbing. And then we'll start testing out some colors and kind of create a color palette for today's artwork. I'm going to be working on craft paper today. I've got this beautiful craft paper sketchbook. I thought it would be fun. I've just been drawn to craft paper recently, but also I thought it'd be a great way to show how opaque these markers are. So it's a Muji sketchbook. You've seen me use it in other YouTube tutorials. This geranium video I'm very proud of. Go watch it. Nobody watched it. But I love craft paper and I'm excited to see what these markers are all about. So let's grab some scrap paper and try them out. Okay, right away, some things I love, you don't have to shake them. They also have a brush tip, so you can do thin, delicate lines and larger shapes. It really feels like you are painting, but the not having to shake them is such a big deal if you've ever done that with paint markers and you have to shake them and depress the tip, and it's just so hard to get the pigment out. You can see all you have to do with these is open them and start using them, and they're highly pigmented and very opaque, and they show up really beautifully, even on the darker paper. So I went through, played with a bunch of colors, kind of figured out what colors spoke to me for this particular piece. I got some really bright red, some burgundy pinks, like sort of dusty pinks, gray blues, darker blues, a mauve, white, a golden yellow, and I was like, yeah, there we go. That's the color palette that I want to use. And then what I did to create a fun piece of art, a great way to do a sketchbook page, is to divide the page up into 3 or 4 sections, make 3 or 4 different little sketches or pieces of art, but use the same color palette for all of them so that they all look like they belong together. So I started by doing a small illustration. I did some messy donut shapes, circles, for the flowers using that dusty pink. Put a spot in the middle, like one little blob. I did the white vase. The vase shape is very messy, but I'm very into it. And then you can see me using this brown color. It's sort of like a really warm light brown. That's my green. That's the color I've chosen to use for green for this piece, for the entire sketchbook page. Did some little leaf shapes, and then I filled in the bottom half with this really pretty dusty light blue. And I like the way that I can just make these messy, streaky lines, and it looks very illustrative and painterly. The markers are also so opaque that you can put light color on top of dark, dark on top of light. Here you can see me adding a few gray brush strokes to create shadow on the vase. And then I'm going to add a shadow onto the table. And I'm using a darker blue right on top of that light blue, and it doesn't change the color at all. You can really see how highly pigmented these paint markers are, and they're just fun to use. They dry really quickly too, so it's like you're painting, but you don't have to worry about the dry time. So I kind of angled the shadow out, put it over top of that blue table, but also let it flow out of the illustration box. And I thought that was just sort of a fun little thing to do. So have your part of your illustration be free of the rectangle that you first outlined. Putting a few light dusty rose highlights on the flowers, and then I'm going to move over here and start another illustration. Let's start this next illustration with white flowers. You can see how not only how opaque the white is on the craft paper, but also how smooth and creamy the pigment is. These are, I would say, excellent quality, and they're certainly excellent quality for the price. Again, the brush tip is super flexible and allows me to do these nice thin lines, but then also lay down larger shapes for leaves in a really organic way because of that flexible brush tip. I'm going to grab that beautiful lavender and just fill in the oval shape. And again, I'm using little dots and dabs and messy streaks, and that gives me a really painterly look. So I'll just do a little dab, dot, line, and I love the way that the craft paper shows through the illustration. I'll do a little darker brown there, and voila, she's all done. Now, if you would like to get my color palette for this entire piece, that will be available to you. So I didn't use all 90 markers. I tested most of the colors, and then I chose about, I don't know, maybe 20. And I will have that color palette available to you on Patreon. You can sign up. You can sign up at the free tier and still get access to things like my color palettes, the odd coloring page, and deals when I have a sale. Okay, let's talk about this big piece, this big third illustration that I'm creating at the bottom. This one will have the most colors, but it'll still flow with the other two illustrations. I'm using that same green in quotation marks, which is the brown S46. It's almost like a greeny brown, and it gives a very warm color, which is exactly what I'm going for with all these cool blues and dusty pinks. I'm going to continue my theme of creating flowers that are really just dots and dabs and messy brush strokes. And so you can see I did my donuts in red. I did some sort of cluster flowers that look sort of like lupins or something with the pinks and lavender. And then I'm coming in and adding some beautiful white flowers, and I can go right over any of the other colors, which I really like. I don't have to think about, adding the white first. I can layer, which is really nice. Here's a good example of how you just use that flexible brush and the creamy pigment to create just shapes and really paint. But you have all the control of holding a marker in your hand, which I love. Gonna fill in some space here and just put down that browny green everywhere that I need to fill in. You can also just put dots and dabs of green in between the flowers to make it look like there is a bit of leaf or stem there. And then I think what I want to do now that the kind of garden portion of the illustration is done, is take this really dark blue that we haven't used yet, and I want to create the look of a shadow in behind the flowers. So I'm starting by kind of placing a bit of dark blue around the floral shapes themselves, and then starting in on the edges. And then eventually we're going to come and go all the way around. And like I said, create the look of a shadow. So we're going to echo some of the floral shapes that we've already done and just put them a little bit higher up and to the left. And it's not a bad idea to, have some leaves that go off, kind of above the flowers, because then when you echo those leaf and flower shapes, it really looks great and it creates a really fun illustration. So there I'm echoing all the leaves that are sticking out to the left, and I've got one down here at the bottom, and I just think it looks really fun. And maybe it reads as a shadow, or maybe to someone else it reads as just more flowers in the background or something. That's okay, it's all good. I just thought it would be a fun illustration to try, and that's what this page is. It's a test page in my sketchbook. I'm very happy with it. I think it looks great, but I am just testing out the markers. I'm adding some more of the brown in here to layer over top of that shadow color, so that it really pops. But this is all just me trying something out. So I don't need this illustration to be perfect. I just wanted to get a feel for the colors that I really love, the colors that speak to me, a feel for, the paint texture and opacity. And so far I'm really impressed, and I can see myself using these a lot. In fact, these markers can be used on all different types of surfaces like wood, canvas, fabric, glass. And so if you would like to see me do another little project, this time on white paper, head over to my Instagram and you can check out this reel where I made some cards and it took like 2 seconds and they look like I hand painted them, and I just did them with paint markers. Amazing. To finish my entire sketchbook piece here, I'm going to add just a little hint of a lighter green on top of some of that browny green that I used, just to give some little highlights. It really make that dark brown pop against the dark blue shadow. And then once that's done, I still have to give a background to the first illustration that we did. I just wasn't sure what color to use, and so I just waited until the end. And I went for a really light peach color. I still think I layered it twice, but it shows up amazingly on the craft paper. And I did my little streaky lines. I wanted to see the lines for that illustrative painterly look. My 3 mini illustration sketchbook page is complete. Okay, now it's complete. And I'm so happy with it. Love these markers. Had so much fun creating this art and this tutorial. If you would like to purchase these markers, check the video description for country-specific links for the 90 color acrylic marker set from Arrtx. Thanks for watching today, guys. Head over to Patreon and become a free member or a paid member to get that color list. And I will see you soon with a new tutorial. Thanks to Arrtx for sponsoring today's video.